As the calendar clicks over from 2025 into 2026, most of the world has to wait at least a few weeks for racing action to begin. But in the virtual world, there are no such restrictions, and so we turn our eyes to the WinterFest Derby here at USA Speedway, a joint race put on by BRL and YesterYear Racing in an inaugural event hosted here all day long, leading up to the main event here tonight, letting ARCA cars loose on this historic track. Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is DJ Clark. Delighted to be joined by Jeremy Scott. Lowell Jewell is pressing buttons behind the scenes, and it is going to be an action-packed 200 laps around USA Speedway. Jeremy, this is the kind of action that we all look forward to when we lay our heads down in the cold, cold winter.
I'll tell you what, DJ, since the last BRL late model race last month, this is the one race I've been setting my eyes to because it's going to be an all out brawl to see who's going to win this inaugural event. It's a beautiful trophy that all these racers are running for. And like you said, we've been running all day long, several race winners already in different disciplines, different styles of racing. And yeah, it all leads up to this 200 laps. You rung what you brung and no fast repairs. It's going to be absolutely fantastic.
And truly fixed setups for these drivers as well. So equalizing the playing field across everything. But Jeremy, you kind of hit the nail on the head there. Talking about today and what's been going on, we're talking about multiple disciplines that these drivers have had to be running out throughout the course of the day, kind of qualifying, getting themselves in position to physically qualify here. That's going to be a little bit of a storyline, I think, of making that shift. Because even if we're going from modifieds to legends and street stocks, SRX, and now into ARCA, you've got to kind of change your mentality as you jump from car to car to car.
And there's already been a handful of drivers who have run in the ARCA cars earlier today. Ed Foster, your winner in that event, he is actually out there qualifying right now. It's so much that you have to do to get into the show, but still lots of you have to think about. Okay, well, I've got to save my tires for the modifieds, street stocks. I can basically run just a little bit harder. SRX. It's kind of like a heavier late model car. So you've got so many different things you can do. And I'm really excited for this because there's a lot of drivers in the field that don't normally need to qualify for their weekly show. So this is how special this race is.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool to see. And as we said, a joint cooperation here between YesterYear Racing League and the Bootleg Racing League. Very happy to put that on. And an international affair from the numbers that I was given before the broadcast began. 5 Canadians, an Australian, and 31 Americans ready to take to the track here. And Jeremy, I also want to talk a little bit about the trophy that they're going to be receiving. As you can see, qualifying times starting to tick their way forward. We'll break through all that when everything is said and done. But Baldy, a 24-inch statue, Stars and Stripes American Eagle. This thing is going to be special to whoever wins this.
Yeah, handmade by Metal Art of Wisconsin. If you've ever been up to the Northwoods, you know what it's like up there with all the artistry. And I'm looking at it now, and man, I wish that I would have actually tried my hand at this because that's an absolutely beautiful piece of art that will go to the winner, whether it be here in the North American, or if we end up having to fly it overseas to Australia. And yeah, our only Aussie driver, Ed Foster, somebody who fills in for me on BRL. So really excited to actually have a physical trophy. You don't get that much in sim racing these days. It's usually a digital trophy. If you're lucky, you win some cash. But yeah, the winner of tonight's race, this 200 lapper, will get that Soaring Freedom Eagle.
All right, now let's turn our attention here to the race itself. As you can see, those times starting to populate onto the board. It was a 4-lap average qualifying here. That's why it took a minute for everything to get together. I've got to say, the big surprise to me, Foster, as you said, kind of one of the early favorites that we circled, only in 5th place. Now, granted, USA Speedway, this is a place where you can get passing done. As we take a look at that overhead view here, a lot more of a longer straightaway. You're able to kind of build that draft a little bit and send it down into the corners.
Yeah, Ed Foster in fifth place. That's a good spot for him. But really, if you're asking me the big shock of the weekend, it's going to be Kyle Feemster right now at the top. Feemster is just came off his rookie season in the BRL Late Model Series. We talked to him after the last race, and he said, "I'm not really an oval guy. My forte is the sports cars and the open wheel road course cars. But I will say this: the second half of the season, Feemster's really taken like a duck to water when it comes to this. As we're starting to grid up for this." Watch out for him. James Lowe, if you've been watching BRL, he's been really good. Scott Negus, also one of those drivers that I think could make some hay. Also, Alan Wanamaker, not doing too bad. So, really, it's going to be anybody's race for 200 laps. So, when a 100 lapper, we can sit and say, okay, this driver has this driver has that. But to add the extra 100 laps, and it's going to make life a little more interesting.
Yeah, tire wear going to be a big concern to these drivers. They do get an extra set from what I understand, but it's going to be interesting to see how that plays itself out as well. But these longer corners, the long straightaways, you're going to want to try to make sure you maximize your get off the line, but you're also going to want to play it a little bit safe. Don't want to spin those rear tires at any point, as that can definitely lead to a little bit of negative tire wear. So that's going to be a storyline that we follow over the course of the race. And also, I think I have to say, I mean, we're racing ARCA. We're going to see some bumping. We're going to see some rubbing. I think there's going to be a little bit of elbows out, especially in that last 50 laps.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit more than we normally see on a normal short track night. If you're able to watch the race before this, obviously no commentators, but there was some interesting moves there, especially early on in the race. DJ, we have our grid up here of Kyle Feemster, as I said, on the front row. Chris Worrell alongside.
Yeah, James Lowe going to be behind them, followed by one of our overseas drivers. That's Edward Foster, then Trey Plum and Jerry Inskis in P6. Luke Logan Allen in 7th, and Alan Wanamaker in 8th. Kenny Allen in 9th, and Mike Holloway round out your top 10, Jeremy.
I'll take a look at Todd Cousins. He'll be alongside Sean Foltz in row number 6. Off to row number 7, it's Scott Negus and Robert Guarisco. Brennan Myers and Fred Leclerc make up row number 8. Row 9, the Canadian Goose, John Wilson, Dalton Williamson. And rounding out your top 20, DJ Jeffrey Harden and Steve Hilbert.
Then it's going to be Bruce Pearson and Todd Liston behind them. Chris Haslip, a favorite and a stalwart on the channel, is in 23rd. 24th will be Thomas Hilbert, and we roll back into the last couple of runs here. Torrance Childs, Gavin Adams, Lloyd Moore, and Glenn Jamieson make up your 28-car field. The virtual stands are packed, and we are ready to get going. 2 pace laps here. Jeremy, what should we be watching out for on these first couple of laps?
I'll see how long it takes drivers to get down to the bottom, because I have a feeling that top line is not going to be working up until we get to about lap 50 with the crossover coming in, DJ.
I got to agree with that. We will see how it all plays out, though, as we get ready to go racing here at USA Speedway. Put 200 laps on the clock as the pace car pulls off down into pit lane. All eyes turn towards the flag stand, and there goes the green. We are racing here for the Winter Derby. It is an absolutely great getaway there from P2, able to pull out into the lead, and that is going to be a good breakaway. A little bit of a hard break there for Feimster, and then everybody else starting to slot in behind.
Yeah, Feemster and Lowe, they find each other once again, but James Lowe running a different paint scheme than we're used to. He's running white and blue as he tucks in ahead of Ed Foster, sitting there in 4th place. Worrell with the fastest lap so far, but Ed Foster going to try the high line. I believe we're yellow. We're already off the start. Yeah, so once again, pace car is coming right out.
All right, pace car back out onto the track to be able to get everybody back in line. Yeah, Worrell with that really brilliant start, and I'm going to be curious to see if that's something that keeps on going over the course of the race. Let's take a look at the replay here. Oh, just drove it in a little bit too deep.
Yeah, that was Haslip that with that spin, and early on you don't want to do that. Let's see also what happens. Yeah, Haslip getting contacted by the 5, and that right there, Torrance Childs involved in that one.
All right, so Childs is the one that made that contact there into Haslip. We talked about that. Interesting here, I'm seeing Jamieson down into pit lane already. Maybe a little bit of a strategy play here. What could that be?
Well, we'll find out here shortly. Glenn Jamieson also going into the pits. I don't think he'd go in too early, especially with that one tire that the one tire change you have. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some of the front runners make their way into the pits for that tire change here in past lap 100.
Yeah, and I think for Jameson, that's actually a good call. What he just did looked like that was just simply a top off of fuel. I like that call. He's running back down at about the top, the bottom 5 to 10. It's just that opportunity to go in, get a top off, maybe put yourself on a little bit of an alternate strategy and give yourself 2, 3, 4 lap window on the rest of the field. You see that a lot in a lot of these racing. Childs also doing the same thing, and like this call from them.
We'll see how that plays out for him. Of course, don't want to spend too much time in pit road. By the way, got to shout out Aunt Mary Al. It's great to see her cheering on James Lowe. She does each and every week in the BRL late model. Of course, the field is starting to pair up. So at some point, we should be able to go back to green. Usually going to be a quickie caution. And yeah, no need to really have to worry about crash damage. So we should be underway here shortly as Childs comes out of the pits.
Yeah, Childs is coming back out here. Wonder if that was maybe just a little bit of hitting that car with some mallets to see if there was anything that they needed to fix on it, as they maybe picked up a little bit of damage on that right front of the car. But as you said, starting to reform here. Here are the drivers in that front row looking pretty good. I'm going to keep my eye here on that outside row going off of the restart. This could be very, very interesting to see if we get that jump from the outside lane once again.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see. Indeed, Feemster saw what happened, and I think that he's not going to be snookered a second time around.
No, I don't think he will, but again, he will see that 06 starting everything off here. They're going to get going right now, leading the field around to green. We will restart here, and it looks like, again, Feemster with a great getaway on that outside lane. Let's see if he's able to stick it through the corner. No, it's going to go back to the 06, and that's going to be able to hold it down through Foster a little bit side by side farther back in the field, and it looks like everybody's starting to fan out. Good getaway here and a charge up through the field for the 99.
Well, this is kind of rare for me to say, is Foster being the thorn on the side of James Lowe. They're still side by side going into turn number 2. And now Foster finally shakes him loose. There's Trey Bloom, the caveman, now going around Foster as well. So Foster has to find a way to get down low and make sure that he can get back into position as Trey Bloom running deep inside through 3 and 4 once again. Not too far away, you got Alan Wanamaker. He's in a different color paint scheme as well. He's running the black and red. But look at Kyle Feemster. He's in the lead.
There he goes, Feemster charging back up to the lead. I couldn't tell exactly, but I think he was just able to get down to the inside there of that 06 and be able to power off the corner. As you said earlier, Jeremy, this inside line is the way to go until that top lane gets a little bit more rubbered up. Oh, contact, and it's going to be a big hit down the front straightaway.
Had Foster and Wanamaker involved in that, so we will most likely end up going yellow here if we haven't gone yellow already. And yeah, Foster looks like that his race could be over for the most part, as yeah, no caution yet, but still, which is kind of weird to see two cars end up heavy in the wall, and we're still green.
I think that is one of the little idiosyncrasies of the iRacing system. You saw that car down to the inside onto the apron, and it didn't register as onto the track. And I believe because they towed with enough time, we stay green 10 laps down here at USA Speedway.
And already running nice and clean. You see the gap that Feemster has opened up on Worrell. Of course, right now, James Lowe closing in on that 06. So it's Ford over Chevy, not too far away from there. A driver who really we haven't seen up near the front lately, and that is Trey Bloom. Great to see him sitting back there in 4th place. Jerry Isaacs also rounding out your top 5. So single file there for that battle for second, but still everybody kind of getting in line, feeling each other out. And Feemster, though, well, look at that, 1.2 seconds out already. So the rookie's looking pretty good.
Yeah, Feemster really starting to stretch his legs a little bit, but again, 200-lap race, there's still a lot to play into it. What's interesting for me here watching particularly this Chevy that we've got on our screen, the 99 of Lowe, look how, pun intended, lower he's running on the track. As he dives down into the corner compared to Worrell, he's entering lower, he's holding lower, and he's staying lower on the entire line. That's just one of those things that you notice, and that I guarantee you Worrell ahead of him is also keeping an eye on.
Well, early last year, James Lowe admitted that he has found a setup that he really likes within his steering wheel that allows him to drive just a little bit deeper. And it's something that the rest of the field is still trying to gather up on. But now that they're not in the late model car, they're in the ARCA car, I think that that's kind of getting exposed just a little bit. Of course, Lowe, the 2 out of the last 3 championships in the BRL late model series. So Trey Bloom, though, one of the protagonists who we normally see out in the late model, trying to see what he can do to go around the inside. Real quick, the highest climber so far in this race, DJ, up 9 spots, is Lloyd Moore in 18th in the number 26.
All right, Moore helped out a little bit by some of those drivers that came into pit, as well as you saw that number 7, or the down in 27th, that car obviously taking the tow. But nevertheless, 9 positions up at this point for Moore. Very, very impressive. Good stuff for them. Biggest loser there looks like it's Allen in 19th, down 12.
CW's Bruce Pearson up there holding off Moore for that position. There's the 26 and Moore going up one more. Here's the battle for second place heating up again between Whirl and Lowe. Lowe's just sizing up Whirl, not a competitor that he's used to, but that's giving Feimster a chance to open up an even bigger gap. 1.6 seconds separates the 14 from the 0 stick. Of course, as we said, the interested spectator, Trey Bloom, in that number 32 Toyota, the Caveman, looking as good as he normally does here in late model. I just saw something on my timing screen that really poked out at me. Jeffrey Harden up to 14th. He was able to get around Scott Negus and Todd Liston as well. So that's going to be another climber to watch out for. But really, everybody nice and tight. I'm looking also for another good mention. Mike Holloway, great showing from him so far. He's up number 6 in that number 88 Quick Trip Mustang.
Yeah, it's a good run for Holloway. A little bit of a wiggle farther back in the field. Oh, big wiggle there from the number 51 machine. That was a little bit tricky. I think that was Isaac Itzim right in front of him. You've got to be really careful coming off the line. We talked about that tire spin. We talked about how that can really affect. And you've got to be careful coming down into these corners, particularly through 1 and 2. If we take a look, it's not quite as bad as the snapping turtles that existed at Myrtle Beach. But you look at the line on this track, and there is definitely a severe distance, a severe berm, a curve there on that low line. You don't want to drift over it too much.
No, you really don't. And, you know, now we're starting to see the low line come in. I'm wondering who's going to be the first one to dip into that middle line, because somebody's going to get a little antsy here in just a little bit. We got another spinner as the 55 turns. I'm not sure who that was, but as I scroll down, that's actually going to be Jeffrey Harden who's involved in that. And now we have our second caution of the race.
I think that's the definition of the commentator's curse there at that point. We were just talking about praising Jeffrey for a good run. Let's take a look at the replay. It just drifted up, not able to stop the car from coming up was the 55.
So a feature that we do on BRL, I hope we can still do it here, is we talk to the drivers here in between the yellows. Lowell, let's see if we can punch up the 14 of Kyle Feimster, your leader, as he sits right behind the pace car, driver of the number 14 Ford, rookie of the year. And I'll go ahead and see if I can drag him up then as Kyle Feimster. Kyle, it's Jeremy and DJ up at the booth. Looking good so far. The initial start was a little tough, but it seems like you figured out the restart after that.
Yeah, I was expecting the green a little bit in the middle of the box and not right when we crossed the line. You know, they've got to go on green, which is, you know, doesn't give anybody an advantage, especially the leader. So it's just, you know, like I said, I jump on the 6 on the next one, but kind of took it easy into 1 there.
DJ?
Yeah, well, Kyle, I mean, it looks like you're really starting to put down some pace on the rest of this field. Are you just feeling the rhythm here at this point, or what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I like this track car combo. I've practiced a little bit today while I was doing some other racing. Looks like the guys behind me are saving a little bit of tire, so I pulled out about a second there and noticed in the delta times some couple tenths of a second, which is not normal. So I backed off a little bit and just trying to make the laps till the tire change, and then we'll go from there.
And that's another thing, too. It's something you got to get used to. You got to do a tire change. You don't have to do that normally.
Yeah, for sure. I just did an 8-hour endurance race today in a GTP car, so plenty of pit stops there. So So we'll be all right. Shout out to mom and dad for watching. Thank you guys for what you're doing.
All right, go get him, buddy. Good luck.
All right, that was Kyle Feemster there, ready to get back and get ready to go racing. Yeah, I kind of wondered what he was saying there a little bit, Jeremy. I thought that there may be some tire strategy going on from the likes of Worrell and Lowe, but definitely confirmed there by Kyle Feemster. So that tire strategy starting to come in here already on lap 26.
Yeah, no surprise, especially because a lot of these drivers, they don't have to worry about a tire stop here in any of their races that they normally run. Lights out on the pace car. Worrell once again has that outside line, but James Lowe and Trey Bloom right there in row 2. Not sure I want them behind me at all.
No, I'm not sure either, and I'm especially worried if I'm Chris Worrell. We heard a little bit about that sort of back and forth, got to go on green, and we heard Kyle get caught out ever so slightly by that first one. But if I'm sitting there and I'm James Lowe, there may be a chance for me to get a good jump here and get down to the inside of Chris Worrell. Well, let's keep our eyes on the screen, and here they go. It looks like James Lowe trying to do exactly that. He's going to tuck up right to the bumper here of Feemster, but it's going to be side by side up for the lead as we go through 1 and 2.
Yeah, no surprise here. Feemster has it. O's out front here going into 3 and 4. Now has that line there. Gets a good jump off of turn number 4. He'll be able to shut the front door on him. Here comes James Lowe, though, once again, knocking at that door. Second place of Worrell. Here goes to the inside. Mike Holloway as Trey Bloom's lost several positions. He's down to 6th.
And I think that's proof in the pudding that top lane not coming in yet. Big move down to the inside for James Lowe. Absolutely brilliant sneak attack. And Ezekiel's trying to make a move as well on Chris Worrell.
Yeah, so still we're seeing Worrell fall back just a little bit. Now James Lowe, he's in the catbird seat in spite of Feemster up 0.6 of a second. He still has to close down a lot of ground if he wants to make anything happen. But Izek's looking really good here, sitting in 3rd place, closing in and has the nose out front, gets out front, and now Mike Holloway's going to try and charge. We got a spinner at the back as well. That's going to be Todd Lisson who spun out, and that's our 3rd caution of the race.
That's our 3rd caution. I think multiple drivers involved in that. I saw John Wilson, Kenny Allen maybe falling down through the order as well. Looks like Luke Logan Allen may be falling down. Big contact through the field. I saw 2 or 3 machines. One car gets loose and just tags it up.
Yeah, that was John, the Canadian Goose with just gets loose off of 4. And unfortunately, Bruce Pearson had nowhere else to go. Let's see who else he collected. Yeah, so there's Liston who hits the wall. And then you see Hazlip involved as well. A couple other cars. I could not get their number, but looks like the 9 was involved as well. So that was Alan Wanamaker. It's already a rough showing for some drivers. DJ, who do you want to pick out of the field to talk to this time?
Well, I think we've got to talk to Jerry Ezekiel. He is the one that is charging his way through the field. The driver of this number 51 has been absolutely incredible. Let's see if we can get him here, Jeremy.
Yeah, let's talk to Jerry, the number 51, sitting in 3rd place. Jerry, it's Jeremy and DJ in the booth. Fantastic start of the race. You're up 3 spots, and you're around some pretty fast drivers as well.
Yeah, these guys are good. I'm happy to be up here.
Well, Jerry, DJ here in the booth. I just want to talk to you a little bit about what you're having to do to make these moves down to the inside. It looks like you've got to be super aggressive here on the early stages. Is that right?
Well, I mean, you hate to be aggressive early in any race, but you've got, this track is so hard to pass, and then later on with tire wear, it just gets harder and harder and harder. So I mean, from my point of view, you got to make your jumps on the restart because once you get single file, it's going to be really hard to pass.
Well, here's something that's weird for me to say for any BRL or YesterYear series. There's only 19 cars out there. The rest of the cars are in the pits, so it looks like this is going to be a race of attrition. Good luck out there.
Thank you.
All right,
Jerry,
so there you kind of heard it. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, there you heard it from Jerry, really saying you've got to hammer on these restarts to be able to get himself back in there and get in those positions. So I think you're going to see more aggression, and you're going to unfortunately see the old adage here, Jeremy, cautions breeding cautions, drivers recognizing we've got to make this move when the yellow comes out.
Yeah, for a lot of these drivers, this is abnormal to have this many cautions this early on. It has that very early race feel as the lights are out on the pace car. And Feemster's old foe, James Lowe, is on the outside. So for the first time, we get to see these two cars go head-to-head, especially on a restart. This is something that I'm licking my chops over, DJ, because these two, near the end of the season, they always seem to find each other.
Yeah, they always seem to, and it's always kind of amazing how drivers just seem to have that magnet over the course of a season that they always find each other and get into the side of one another. But now it's time for Feemster and Lowe to be able to sort their differences out on the track. Green flag is in the air, firing back up. Long line, good immediate getaway there from Feemster, but it looks like Lowe may be able to carry some good speed around the outside. He's going to have a nose ahead as they come out of turn 2. It's still side by side. Noah's Ark through the field.
They're still side by side as if they're running their pace laps at speed. Lowe gets a nose out front. Feemster with a little bit of a rub there off of 3 and 4, but at the line, it's going to be Feemster by 0.1 seconds, and Feemster finally gets out front, so Lowe's going to concede. He's going to dip to the bottom. High, wide, and handsome is Chris Worrell as well, trying to get around Jerry Isaacs, but he's got Mike Holloway, who's going to take a nice look to the inside, turn number 3. So Worrell doing all he can to try and keep the high line active. Not able to do it just yet. I don't think it's ready.
I don't think it's ready yet either, and that's kind of proven out. Check back a little farther in the field. That's the 32, I believe, of Sean Foltz going side by side with the 11 of Brennan Myers, trying to sort themselves out. Myers is in the 11, going to have a little bit of an advantage here. Excuse me, that's Todd Cousins, the Canadian. Whoa, big wiggle there from Dalton Williamson.
You know, Brendan Myers is a curious case. He, I think, would be somebody who would be equal to a James Lowe if he was able to make every race, because anytime you get Brendan Myers in a car, he is a dark horse. You can always count on him to get up to the front, and it doesn't matter where he is, because throughout a race, you're like, oh, he's here, he's here. Well, how did he get all of a sudden 10 laps later up to the front? So I would expect that out of Brendan Myers as well. Great battling back here for 11th between Fred Leclerc and Lloyd Moore as well, as they're side by side up at the front. Dalton Williamson you see back up there, but look at this. This is absolutely fantastic racing as Leclerc has the high line in the 71. Lloyd Moore down low trying to take that position back. Actually, he's up high, I should say. He's able to use that high line, and DJ, that's the first time we see the high line work for anybody.
Yeah, it is, and that's a good run there for him in that 26. If he's able to hold that, that may encourage a few other drivers to get themselves up on that high line. We check back in on the lead of the race right now with Feemster and Lowe. Lowe just kind of stalking behind in the tracks, running a little bit of that lower line that we talked about a little bit earlier, just a hair lower. And of course, as I say, that runs about maybe a hair higher than we saw there from Kyle. Just that kind of back and forth cat and mouse game, trying to figure things out.
And that's exactly what we see out of James Lowe. He doesn't want to attack right away. He'll find your weak spots, and he will get them up there and make that happen. But this is just so mind-blowing to see a different color out of James Lowe. It's like the opposite. And you got this 3-car battle for 4th place with Worrell, Holloway, and Trey Bloom. Look at this, though. Lowe decides to go to the outside for the battle for the lead. He shut the front door on Isaacs, who also tries to get up there as well. Little bit of a bump, a little bit of a wiggle out of Feemster as they work their way through 3 and 4. Feemster gets a better entry through there, but that was a little bit of a tense moment for the rookie.
That was, and I think that was all set up by Feemster making a little bit of a mistake, maybe catching a little bit of tire spin, just a wiggle coming off of turn 2, and Lowe was ready to pounce on it, and that's really what you've got to do. We heard there from Jerry earlier on that that's the way you have got to be, that you have got to be ready to pounce if there was a mistake and it's not off of a restart. We see the field now filter their way past the main grandstand down into turn 1, starting lap 45. All things status quo at the front of the field, but you get that sense that this is a pressure cooker. You're just waiting for more excitement, and here it comes. Trey Bloom down to the inside.
Yeah, great move by Bloom as he gets around the 88 of Holloway. And of course, back there, you also got a great battle between Myers and Cousins. Myers trying to get up to position. Here comes Sean Foltz as well. He wants a piece of Mike Holloway, but Trey Bloom able to get up front and move there. There's a good battle there. As we mentioned, it's the 11 of Myers, 33 of Cousins once again going to battle. A little wiggle. So yeah, that car's not there for Myers just yet up high. He's going to lose one, maybe two spots, and even possibly a third as Lloyd Moore, already up 16 spots, now goes up 17 as he gets his way into the top 10.
Yeah, he is pushing here, and I think that goes to show kind of what we suspected a little bit earlier on, that top lane just not there yet as the 11 of Myers continues to get run on here at this point, and that's going to be Myers down to the inside, almost had it, or excuse me, Moore down to the inside, almost had the getaway, and wakening in behind here is Fred Leclerc, just in that popcorn position, waiting for this to explode. And I think if I am Leclerc, I am down to the inside. I'm following that 26 because I know the 11 up on the high side is going to lose out.
Yeah, that 11's going to lose out pretty quickly, but nonetheless, I think Brendan Myers might be trying to chew up his tires. And of course, I don't like what I just saw. It looked like Fred Leclerc tried to take that nose to the inside of Moore and try and make it 3 wide. If there's one thing you don't want to do in these cars, you don't want to go 3 wide because that will always end up in tears for 1 or 2 drivers. But man, look at this. You see Moore and Myers holding up the rest of the field back there. Once somebody gets out of the way, the proverbial cork of the bottle is going to let out, and we're going to see a whole bunch of racers trying to go for position. So now we see Lloyd Moore get that nose up front, and it's Fred Leclerc's turn to try and work his way around Brendan Myers. Myers getting a little loose. He's trying to get down low, so he does sit up high. I think that he's like an anchor out there and just stuck.
Yeah, and I mean, this is what you've got to do, though, if you're the likes of Leclerc. And even looking back at Glenn Jamieson, Robert Moresco, just try to get down to the inside, use that to their disadvantage. And to your point earlier about the cork in the bottle, look at the number 26 of Lloyd Moore. He is scampering off into the distance. He is gone. It is very clear that this 2-wide running is not doing anyone any favors.
As somebody who uses his product sponsor, Zero Shoes, I got to say those shoes have a lot of great grip, so no surprise here. He's got the grip. Dalton Williamson gets ahead of Todd Cousins for 8th place. Now opens up a 1 to 2 car length gap, but it's still taking several laps for Leclerc to get around Myers. No surprise because Myers, he's one tough customer. He's not going to go away that easily as Leclerc is quickly noticing. It seems like that the line is working for some, but not for all. And a little bit of wiggle out of Leclerc coming off of turn number 4, but he's easily able to get up there. Now we see Brendan Myers get to that low line, but now Leclerc has to go to that high line.
Yeah, it does. We check back in on the front of the field, Chris Worrell there, Jerry Essex, and that's the second time we've seen the two of them come together. Somebody off down into the grass on the inside. We stay green, and now we're side by side for P3.
Oh, what a fantastic battle between Isaacs and Worrell. They go side by side, a little bit of a wiggle off of Isaacs. He slaps the wall coming off of turn number 2, but Isaacs has that advantage so far. Tries to shut the front door on Worrell, but Worrell shoves that foot in there, and he gets up there. Trey Bloom wants a piece of it as well. He's the interested spectator. Don't count out Mike Holloway either, as this battle for third really intensifies. A little bit of a rub off one another coming off of turn number 2, and so far so good. Isaacs has that nose for the time being as Worrell. He doesn't have to do too much altering because that Sharpie paint scheme looking oh so slick.
And I think here from Isaacs, I like what I'm seeing out of him. He's really pinching down as much as possible, giving fair racing space to Chris Worrell, but trying to keep him down there and make sure he's able to pin down as much as he can. There may be a little bit of contact there, a little bit of a slip and a slide from the 51 of Isaacs, but he's going to keep it together. And the other thing these drivers have to keep in mind is they are coming up on lap traffic, another wrinkle into this mix.
And of course, Jerry Isaacs right there, your driver who's trying to go 3 wide. Holy cow! And it worked because the 30 goes high, wide, and handsome. That's Gavin Adams who decides that, you know what, I see the faster traffic and we're just going to go through. Here comes Worrell. He gets that position back, but Isaacs, he's going to concede. But you know, if you concede in front of Trey Bloom, you're going to be in for a fight here the next couple of laps.
Yeah, you certainly are. Isaac's trying to hold that as much as he can. Let's see if they're able to get anything. The 32 falling back in line there. Trey Bloom's trying to just wait and see. Didn't get the run off. Had a little bit of a look down into the corner. Quite able to get it to play. Now they stay in line, and if I'm the 06 here of Chris Worrell, I do not want any more attention. I need to focus up ahead of me. It is 2.25 seconds, the gap between himself and James Lowe. He's got to focus forward. He's got to try to chase down these two leaders.
I'll tell you what, it seems like Trey Bloom has a good run going into the corners, and Isaac's shutting the front door on him each and every time. Those are some nice moves that the 51 has. So kids, if you are watching, watch Isaac's and his defense to try and stay into fourth over Trey Bloom in that number 32. But yeah, so far so good. This has got to be one of the longest green flag runs that we've had. Knock on wood, we stay that way. But also seeing Holloway testing that upper line just a little bit, taking the right sides up to the bottom of what would be the second lane. He's able to stay put, but I have a feeling that the longer this run goes on, you're going to see a lot more cars kind of slide up. And Sean Foltz, one of those ones testing that line, as he's got Dalton Williamson behind him.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of pressure from Williamson, but I think here for Foltz, he's got his eyes set ahead on the car we're watching right now, the number 88 machine of Mike Holloway. And here comes a little bit of that lap traffic. That's Worrell having to dive his way down to the inside. I think that's Chris Hazlett in the 93. Yes, it is, that he had to get around. Hazlett trying to do the right thing and just stay up and out of the way. Now Foltz is able to get through. Now Williamson is able to get through. Credit there to Chris. That is a very heads-up, sportsman-like behavior, just trying to stay clear of these leaders.
Yeah, great to see that some of these drivers who are having some difficulties are really making sure that these leaders are able to go around with no issue. You see the 55 of Scott Negus, who we don't see that often. Great to see him in the field, but he's going to go high, wide, and handsome. Let the faster cars take the lower line, as you see Mike Holloway now going around the inside of Negus, and he's a little slick there through 3 and 4. And thankfully, no harm, no foul, able to get that going. But the field is kind of stretched out a little bit, although we are take a look at the battle for 13th real quick as Todd Liston finally gets around Fred Leclerc right there, the 87 over the 71. And oh boy, we got a little bit of the spinner. It's 28 of Gursko. He's able to get it back up and underway, and no, loses it once again. We still stay clean and green, but nice save there out of the 28. Back to this battle between Liston and Leclerc. They're close and bad. We saw them side by side there for 13th, and now it's single files. Liston trying that high line just once again. Since he's had that kid, he's had some, had some races where he's off, but lately it seems like he's getting better and better now.
Yeah, and the thing here that I think is really, really crucial, and you pointed it out earlier, Jeremy, they are off in really in an island of themselves. They can duke this out. They can battle it a little bit more. I mean, Liston looks about 1.5 seconds behind Glenn Jamieson, so this is able to be a little bit more of a street fight. Get your elbows out, have a little bit more fun with it. The other thing we do have to keep in mind when we talk about this is we do have a pit stop that we anticipate coming after that lap 100 mark. Now the question's going to be is if drivers take the risk, pit under green flag conditions, or if they wait for a yellow to come out. We keep our eyes focused, though, on that sort of upper mid-pack battle. Trey Bloom right now trying to work on Jerry Isaacs and trying to see if there's anything to be had. 32 looking at a little bit more of that crossover, starting high, going low, experimenting with lanes. This is exactly what we thought was going to happen at about this point in the race.
We've had 3 cautions for these tires to cool off a little bit, so I wouldn't be surprised if these drivers try and push it to lap 125 for that compulsory tire pit stop, because you really cannot run all 200 laps on these tires, because once they fall off, they don't fall off like they used to, but they still fall off. The Lipper, Chris Hazlett, going to be involved in this battle for Liston and Leclerc. Leclerc gets that nose up front, but Liston trying to stay as far out of the way. A nice move by Leclerc, forcing the 87 of Liston up high and behind the Lipper so he can get up in front and run away with 13th.
Yeah, that's a good play there by Leclerc. Just great situational awareness to be able to get that 71 into position. We check back. Here's a nice little battle. This is the number 11 machine. Brennan Myers trying to hold off attacks here from Glenn Jamieson, and a little bit of lap traffic around him causing chaos.
Hey, if you look at Jamison's paint scheme from just a little bit of a distance, it almost looks like the old Heilig Myers paint scheme that Dick Trickle ran in the early 90s. So it kind of sharp, looks a little throwback, but Jamison trying to close in on Brennan Myers, who looking pretty good so far. Race winner for the past couple of seasons, the 11 of Myers has been, so that's fun to watch. We also have this battle from Dalton Williamson trying to hold off Sean Foltz. Williamson scrubbed off was able to dive to the inside as Foltz was scrubbing off some speed up high. And of course, Todd Cousins looking good, reeling himself into this battle as that interested spectator. Look, DJ, here's what I like about tonight. So many great battles that we've seen, but nobody's clumped together. It's just, one or two battles here, one or two battles there, and it's 2 to 3 cars who are all involved at one time.
Yeah, exactly. This is kind of the perfect scenario for a semi-short track race. I say semi-short track, USA Speedway a little bit longer than we're used to, a little bit longer straightaways, so it really can develop a little bit more into that sort of traditional style racing that we do see, and you're not immediately on top of one another the entire time. Here's that battle up for P4 right now. Jerry Isaacs still holding off Trey Bloom. Good runs here for Isaacs. Chris Worrell, though, starting to maybe scamper off into the distance just a little bit more than Isaacs would want to. That gap at about, call it 3/4 of a second. Worrell just focused forward, but he's got to be worried. Lowe and Feinster up ahead of him, they're all the way up there, 3 seconds in the distance. So if Worrell can build this gap a little bit more, he'll be sitting pretty for a podium.
No, he definitely will be. And Feimster and Lowe, yeah, they're off in a different zip code. One thing that I mentioned last season with Subzan, I told him flat out, I go, if the second Feimster figures this short track stuff out, he's going to be a dangerous driver. And it looks like with at least one win on the season, couple of podiums, yeah, he's already figured this out. He is going to be a thorn in James Lowe's side for a while. And it's good to see that he's doing quite well. Worrell, Isaacs, and Bloom, though, still within a battle. Bloom looking to the inside of Isaacs. And that's one thing that Bloom's been trying to do. He's trying to go low, trying to get to the inside of Isaacs. But once again, Isaacs not able to do it. Can't say that it was because Wanamaker was the pain there, but Wanamaker still going high. He's one of those drivers that really wants to make sure that he's out of your way, but Bloom's going to fall back just a little bit and kind of regroup and see if he can get around Isaacs.
Well, the other thing to keep in mind, iRacing does model these tires quite well, and even though we are on a little bit of a short track, if you run directly behind another driver like that, even though we're not hitting necessarily super speedway speeds, of course, at that point is thrown out the window. Here is Trey Bloom down to the inside. He is going to make it play. Brilliant. Get off the line. Trey up to P4.
And we only knew it was a matter of time for Trey Bloom to get around Isaacs. Now he sets his sights on Chris Worrell in the 0-6. Let's see if he can close in, as Worrell just a little bit squirrely coming off of turn number 4, but able to gather it all up. And of course, that battle there, Bloom and Isaacs lost about 3 seconds to our third place driver, who himself has fallen down 1 spot so far. Either way, I have a feeling now that Bloom can set his sights on Worrell, we'll start to see his fast laps tick off. Speaking of fast laps, Kyle Feimster, fastest lap of the race, 20.960. You got to go back to James Lowe for the second quickest with a 9.75. So those two are basically running speeds that nobody else has seen, because the next closest competitor, as I look down my screen, it's Lloyd Moore with a 21.1.
Yeah, and to be fair, Feimster right now running about in the 21.6 category. He's pretty consistent in that range. Here's a little bit of a look down to the inside for Williamson on Holloway, but that's that taper off of the tires that you do see. Now down to the inside goes Williamson. He's going to be able to make that play, and that's a good move on the 88 of Holloway. So move Williamson up into P6. He's got about 0.7 of a second to try to make up to Isaacs to see if he's able to gain in that position. Isaacs, now not able to really hold off anybody. He's going to be in an island unto himself. As we are here, if you are just joining us at the inaugural WinterFest Derby at USA Speedway in Lakeland, Florida, virtual Lakeland, Florida, I should say. DJ Clark alongside Jeremy Scott, Lowell Jewell behind the scenes right now. And we are 87 laps into the 200-lap feature event. The front of the field, haven't seen a whole lot of action here recently, but it has been a spark plug down through the rest of it.
And that's what you want in a race. Yeah, you got the leader running away from the field, but everybody else really battling one another left and right. I've got to say, so DJ, you and I both got broadcast notes on, who to watch out for. I found it hilarious, and maybe it's just me because, covering these series, how the predictor said, James Lowe, he's a dark horse. If you've watched any series on BRL, whether it be the modifieds or the late models, you know how funny that is. And it didn't even rate Kyle Feimster because he's not run many races in this format. So these are two quote-unquote dark horses that I think those in the know knew would be a pain in the side of these drivers, but they didn't realize how much of it, because right now Feimster 1.5 seconds over James Lowe, and Lowe's about 3 seconds ahead of the battle for third place.
Yeah, exactly. It just goes to show you, sometimes you come in here, and if you've just got that rhythm, you've just got that groove, you're able to take off and start putting it away. I mean, we talked about some of the drivers here that may have had a little bit more of an experience on circuit racing, on turning left and right on road courses and street courses and that kind of thing. But you come to a short track, you're doing a lot of trail braking, adjusting the braking, adjusting the car through the corner, and there's a lot of carryover that you can see. So I'm not surprised to see some of these drivers up towards the pointy end of the field.
No, I'm not either, as we see James Lowe, he's got to get around Hilbert, and he's got to get around Pearson as well. But Feimster picking and choosing his way through this lap traffic, through this long green flag run. There are 15 cars on the lead lap already. That's just how fast these drivers are going. Oh, by the way, you want to talk about how fast Trey Bloom has caught up to Chris Worrell. He's now 0.2 of a second behind the number 06. Look at that. He's really caught up with them. So Bloom having one of the fastest cars so far this run. And we haven't even hit the pit stops yet. So it looks like that Trey Bloom, his car loves these long runs.
Yeah, and that's going to be something that I think his competitors are going to have to keep in mind. If you are Trey Bloom, you're definitely going to know that the longer you run, the stronger you're going to be. And so the rest of them have to be praying for a little bit of caution. Bloom takes a look down to the inside here of Worrell. Worrell's able to shut the door, but still Bloom definitely showing the orange nose of that Toyota, letting him know that he is there and he is not to be trifled with.
No, Bloom trying to doing what he did with Isaacs and looking for any sort of line, trying anything that he can to get into that third spot. And now he's fallen back just a little bit. Of course, it doesn't help that Worrell has gone just a little bit high, so that gives Bloom a chance to try for another assault going into turn number 1. He's not going to make it happen, but I'm starting to wonder if the tires are falling off on Worrell's car just a little bit more than we've seen the rest of the field, because you got to think of how hard the 06 has had to defend his position. Indeed, he's running a little bit higher line, and that's slowing him up through the corners. So Worrell's probably hoping for caution so he doesn't have to take the green flag pit stop.
I think the majority of these drivers are going to be hoping for a caution here to be able to come in. You do not. A little bit of a sketchy run down to the inside there. I think that was Torrance Childs potentially, or Wanamaker. I didn't get an ID on the car, but look at this. And look at the bottle that's starting to happen here. Worrell slowing down the likes of Bloom, and that's allowing for Isaacs to catch back up to this battle. That's the give and take you get on any given race day.
Todd Hilbert up ahead. He's going to go up high and let these faster drivers go by. And indeed, that's going to slow things up just a little bit for this battle for third place. As Worrell, a little bit of a wiggle coming off of turn 4. Yeah, that car is not happy. Those tires are starting to fall off a cliff, and the second that they do, there's no coming back from that. Oh, a little bit of a slide out of the 06. Coming down off the turn number 2 as Trey Bloom tries to dig and claw his way out of the cave and make it up third place, and he's closest that he's ever been. Let's see if he decides to pop to the inside. Not going to make it happen too far away, but you still have this battle also between Mike Holloway and Sean Foltz. That is for the 7th place.
Yeah, these battles are really starting to play out as the tire wear starts to come in. And look at this. Here comes Williamson looking down to the inside of Isaacs. We said Isaacs was the one to watch out for. It may be Williamson now at this point. He's got the move. I think he's going to be able to clear by the time they dive into the corner, and that's exactly what's going to happen. And now here comes Holloway as well, working up behind some of that lap traffic of Hilbert.
And so Hilbert's going to concede, let these 2 cars go by, wait for the next faster cars, as Hilbert ran into problems early on in this race. With the format of the BRL Late Model Racing Series, we see, oh, look at Trey Bloom take it to the inside. Nice little dive. He's going to get that 3rd spot quite handily as Whirl. All he could do is just sit back and watch the speed that Trey Bloom carried heading into turn 1.
Incredible stuff there, and Bloom knew he needed to get that move on, especially with Williamson closing in. Now my question is going to be the 4.5 seconds that exist between 2nd place James Lowe and 3rd place Trey Bloom. Is Bloom able to close that down?
Yeah, I think if there's anybody who can close it down, it's going to be Bloom. And it might take a little help with some lap traffic for it to close down. Granted, he's 6 seconds behind the leader right now, but you take a look at the lap times, he is running just a couple of hundredths of a second faster than Feemster and Lowe. And you may think that hundredths of a second aren't that much of a difference, but look at how quick it took Trey Bloom to catch up to Chris Whirl. He still has plenty of time as we are past halfway, 5 laps past halfway. So that pit window, that might start to open here within the next, I would say, 5 to 10 laps for drivers who are itching and wishing that they could come in and pit. Because if there's anybody who can save their equipment outside of Feemster and Lowe, it's going to be Trey Bloom.
Exactly. We know he's got great long run pace. We know he's able to make it work, and he is one of the faster drivers out on track right now in the 21.7s. For note, that is about 400ths of a second faster than James Lowe in front of him, so he is starting to run down those drivers in front. Not by a lot, just by enough to maybe make a little bit of a difference here. Trying to work his way forward as much as possible. A little bit of lap traffic in front of him. Scrape off of the wall there. I think that was Torrance Childs. We're going to have to see how this shakes out. 107 laps in the book here at USA Speedway.
A fantastic run that Trey Bloom has had. He's up 2 spots, of course. You take a look at some of the drivers who have really raised a lot. Your highest climber still, Lloyd Moore. He sits in 10th, up 17 spots. I think I go back to Glenn Jamieson, up 16 spots in 12th. Dalton Williamson up 13 spots in 5th place. In that number 1 Toyota, of course, you got drivers battling one another, and James Lowe has fallen off. He's back to 2.2 seconds behind Feemster, but Trey Bloom 4.2 seconds behind him.
Plenty of action, and Bloom now trying to be able to get away. Here is that battle. Watch on Williamson. Is he able to close down on World? Has World used up his stuff too much? Let's see how this plays out. Jerry Isaacs looks like he's starting to fall back through the order just a little bit, holding into 6th place right now. Incidentally, that is where he started. Compare that to Dalton Williamson, who's a spot ahead of him. Ooh, big slide up in front. Hopefully able to keep that together. The 28's around. Everybody has to scatter. Yellow flag in the air.
Oh, this helps out Todd Liston, who is in the pits to get a tire change, and it helps out the rest of the field as well, because now we get to see who has what in terms of pit stops. And our 4th caution comes at probably the best time for everybody.
Yeah, this is exactly when everybody wanted to be able to get this pit stop to happen. Why? Perfect 4-tire strategy, Jeremy. This is ideal for everybody in the field.
And there we go. We start to see everybody, the leaders, start to come down. It's going to be Feemster and Lowe who decide to answer the call. Yeah, everybody's just going to come down into pit road. DJ, this is what is going to be the money stop, I think. You only get 1 set of tires to change, and everybody going to take that opportunity now.
Yeah, everybody's got to come down here. The only person I'm not seeing is Luke Logan Allen, potentially. which that's a gamble. I think he may be hoping that we see a yellow again on the next run. Or that may just be a glitch on my timing and scoring screen. But everybody that I can see down to pit lane, changing the left, changing the right. It's going to be a full service pit stop.
Oh, so looks like James Lowe has pipped Kyle Feemster at the line.
Oh, yeah, he has. Gave it up.
Yeah, James. Well, here's the thing. Lowe's pit stop 14:35, 15:02 out of Feemster. So a little bit of slower pit stop. Luke Logan Allen has had 3 pit stops already, so he might be good, but I don't think he's good till the whole race. As you take a look at the pit stop time right there on the right hand side of your screen.
Yeah, you called that right, and just because of the way things shook out there, Allen only able to get up to about 3rd, 4th position. Looks like he's coming into pit lane now, so he may have been a lap down and was trying to get a lap back or something of that nature. Everybody coming on in here at this point, it looks like, as Allen is confirmed to be down into pit lane. All right, your top 3. What happened to Bloom? Bloom all the way down into 12th, 13th position. What happened in that pit stop?
Not sure. That is not good for the caveman. We'll see. Let's see. Does he have? Let's see. Bloom has 1 pit stop, 15.12. So something must have happened on pit row. See if we can get a replay of that.
Yeah, he must have gotten hit up. There he is coming out of pit lane. That's him in the 06 there of Worrell. He crossed over the line.
Right there, two wheels.
Yep. Yeah, so that's a penalty. That's a penalty there for Trey Bloom.
And that's costly for somebody, like we said, that he races in a series that doesn't have penalties. By the way, I want to say hi to Replay Ryan Seneker. Can't wait to have you back on Saturdays, bud. DJ, it's all you.
All right, coming to the line, it's Kyle Feimster and then James Lowe to the outside. Here they go. Put everything back on. Green flag in the air. Kyle gets a good getaway down on the inside as Lowe tries to carry momentum. Worrell praying, hoping that he's able to stay in. Somebody down way to the inside as they make their way out of 2.
And they're still side by side for the lead between Feemster and Lowe. They work their way through 3 and 4. Feemster has the nose out front. He's going to shut the door on Lowe and get out there. Your top 5, all single file right now. Worrell doesn't have to worry about Trey Bloom as we got a spinner. 1, 2, 3, 4 cars involved.
Oh, and the 71 makes contact as well. That's Leclerc, who's having a good race up to this point. That's Sean Foltz, I think, the one that we mainly saw in the 59 that spun around.
Yeah, I didn't get a good look at that. Oh, that second hit. That always gets you. But, yeah, looks like that, cautions breed cautions, as we mentioned. And, of course, those are just some cold tires. You know what? Let's go ahead, Lowell, and bring up the defending champion of BRL, James Lowe, the 99 Chevrolet. And I've got to ask James Lowe, first of all, champ, welcome. Second of all, why did you have to change the car? It's so hard to kind of make my brain think, oh, that's James Lowe.
Well, every year I like to come out with a little something different, so it was just that time of the year.
DJ?
Well, James, obviously a really good battle here with Kyle up at the front of the field. Do you have anything to catch him? Because it just seems like you've kind of been holding off, waiting for the final moments. Am I right on that? Or what are we going to see in these last 90 or so laps?
I was kind of taking it easy, but Kyle's really good here, and he's running a great race, so we'll see what we got, but I think it'd have to take a mistake on his part to get around him at this point.
James, I think we're at the point now where this is what we're going to see every Saturday night from here on out. Go get him. Good luck.
Appreciate it.
So James Lowe, your defending BRL late model champion. Yeah, you can tell a little bit there, DJ. He's trying to find a way around Feemster because whatever Feemster has, he's doing quite well.
Yeah, it really does. He's doing an absolutely fantastic job, both off of restarts and just holding it down the whole time. I mean, this is an impressive run from Kyle Feemster. This is the kind of thing that we not only expect from Kyle, but that you expect from a champion.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you got the Rookie of the Year BRL up front alongside the champion. These two, like we said, they went toe to toe all the second half of this past season, and they're looking pretty good. Of course, Chris Worrell sitting back there in third place. Would not be surprised to see him try and dice up. Also, you've got Dalton Williamson up 14 spots, and by the way, we have a new highest climber, DJ. It's Glenn Jamieson sitting back there at 8th, up 20 spots.
Yeah, that's a really good run from Jamieson. And Lloyd Moore directly behind him, up 18. So it's impressive runs from both of them. Dalton Williamson, let's not leave him out in the cold, up 14 as well. And he's up in 4th place. He's starting in the outside of row 2 in that black #1 machine that you see on your screen.
Field pairing up once again. It's going to be Feimster and Lowe, Worrell and Williamson, row 2, row 3, Holloway and Isaacs. DJ, I think we're going to be set for another good restart as we'll be coming to lap 120 at the line.
All right, here we go. Put 80 laps up on the counter, and here they go, getting ready to roll out of the corner once more. It's all down to Feimster here as they get going, but it's a better getaway there from James Lowe. He's going to carry some momentum around the outside.
Oh, look at that. Lowe trying to pitch Feimster down low between 1 and 2. And Feimster, he's going to get back on the gas. Dive down to the inside once again. But Lowe, he's a half car length up. They rub, they touch one another as they work their way around 3 and 4. And Worrell's trying to find who he's going to join going into the corner. And right now, Feimster and Lowe still side by side. This is the closest that we have seen them in most of the race. Feimster at the line, your leader. But Feimster's going to get that advantage through 3 and 4 once again.
He's going to get that advantage, but Lowe's able to roll good speed around the outside. Feimster going to try to hold the inside line. They're just about ahead. Is Feimster as they cross over the line. Lowe's going to have to pull into line there, and that's great for the likes of Chris Worrell and Dalton Williamson. That allows them to kind of judge some lines a little bit and keep close to that leading pack, because we've seen what they can do when they get single file and they get to it.
Solid black for the 28, so we'll see him in the pits and have to serve that. But nonetheless, top 2 already walking away. Feimster and Lowe, Worrell, Williamson, and Holloway, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Trying to just hold on and see if they can catch up, but nobody has an answer for the 14 or the 99.
No, nobody really does. They're already starting to get that advantage pulled away. The gap's at about, let's call it a half a second here as they run. So looking very, very good to keep on going. Let's see, we follow a little farther back in the field. Dalton Williamson trying to close in behind and see what they're able to do. As that's going to be the 88 of Holloway also holding in behind. Let's see if he's able to get a run, but it looks like it's going to be Williamson in the catbird seat here.
A lot of drivers having the fastest lap of the race. Of their races, I should say. Here's a nice battle for position. That is between Lloyd Moore and Todd Cousins. Moore to the inside, Cousins to the outside. Moore's going to bring Brendan Myers with him. Myers just gets inside the top 10, and he's going to try and shove Cousins into that 10 spot. He does for the time being, but that hole that that Brendan needs, I should say, that Cousins needs is closing in. By the way, look at Trip Bloom. After that penalty, he's now up to 11 spots. So he's trying to claw his way up. Still a little bit of time left. If he wants to try and battle for that lead, he's going to need at least a couple more cautions to catch up.
Yeah, but with the likes of Foltz and Myers kind of duking it out going side by side. Oh, was that? Oh, down to the inside. That's Isaacs. Something has happened to Jerry Isaacs. He is down to the inside grass, and he is all the way down into 14th place.
Now Isaac's getting it back load up. We'll have a replay here of that shortly, but your early front runner, just that back end, wanted to see what the front end was looking at, and he's able to save it. Thankfully, up against the wall, no caution. We're still clean and green as he didn't touch a darn thing. So you got to tip your cap to Isaacs for saving it, but yeah, he's falling back to 14th.
He's back into 14th. That's unfortunate there for him. This is the 63 on your screen of Glenn Jamieson. We check back in on the battle. Up for P3 now. The final step on the podium. Chris Worrell, Dalton Williamson. Williamson down 1 spot, or Williamson up 14 spots. Worrell down 1 from where they started this race. And I think Williamson would like to make this around 15 spots and be able to get by this red and yellow machine and be able to claim a podium before everything is said and done.
Yeah, Williamson, yeah, 15 is a good round number, so we'll see if Williamson can get around Worrell. Of course, Worrell now has a lot fresher tires than he had earlier on, and he set his best lap on this stint with a 21 flat. So that we'll see how long he can keep in front. Now you have Sean Foltz being hassled and harassed by Trey Bloom. That was a little bit of a wiggle. Bloom's going to try and take advantage, and indeed he is, as Foltz going a little high, giving that room to Trey Bloom, but Bloom not able to capitalize just yet, coming off of 2.
And now he's going to shut the door on him a little bit. I think Foltz was willing to play nice for a moment, but once he realized that that opportunity was not playing out, he decided not to go for it. Back in on the battle for P3. Williamson down to the inside, just trying to hug that low line as much as possible. We still really haven't seen that high line start to play nearly as much as we thought it would. There's still about, let's call it 65 laps to go in this race, but that high line not coming into play quite yet.
I don't know if it's going to come into play just yet. I mean, however, we did see Lowe and Feimster go side by side, neck and neck for a couple laps, but then again, those were both just off the restart. I have a feeling that a lot of drivers really love that low line, and they don't want to touch in that. DJ, you also remember recently iRacing had that update where the track changes, so you think that the drivers would like that, but then again, I have a feeling that the marbles are really coming into play.
Yeah, I think they are, and that's something that we've got to keep in mind. iRacing constantly updating their model, constantly updating the system, and trying to make this as accurate as possible. Of course, as soon as we say high line, there goes Foltz trying to defend a little bit from Trey Bloom down to the inside. I think Bloom may have this away, but yeah, that marble model may definitely be getting swept up a little bit, and we may see it. I mean, you can see it on your screen there, just the buildup of marbles up onto the outside of the track visibly on your screen.
This is one of those rare tracks where you might be able to get a second line working if you try hard enough. But the problem is the drivers in the second line, they're able to hold the line. They're not necessarily able to muscle their way around anyone that they're racing, because you see methodically Trey Bloom doing his best to get around Sean Foltz, to get inside that top 10. He's got that nose up front. Let's see where he's at across the line. As the 32 and 59 still side by side. Of course, Todd Cousins kind of holding them back just a little bit. Bloom might have it the whole way, but yeah, I think we'll say for posterity's sake that he will have it this time by. Go back to this battle between Worrell and Williamson. Williamson, he's just sitting back there seeing what weaknesses Worrell has for third place. But like I said, I think that Worrell likes these newer tires. Williamson's best off waiting till the end of this stint to try and capitalize.
Yeah, I think you're right, but he's not taking your advice. He's looking down to the inside here of Chris Worrell. Williamson going for that P3 position. He does not want to let Feimster and Lowe get any farther ahead of him. And there he is, down to the inside. That's P3 for the #1 machine.
And that's why I wear a broadcast headset. Trey Bloom has gotten around Sean Foltz and makes easy work of Todd Cousins as well. So he's in 2 spots in the past couple of laps. Now Bloom is up to 9, sets his sights on Brennan Myers, which we'll see how long that takes Bloom to get up there. But like I said, it's going to take a caution, maybe 2, for Trey Bloom to work his way back into contention. And DJ, you remember when I was talking about Brendan Myers, and he's running like about 15th, 16th. How did he get up there? Look at where he's at now. He's sitting up at 8th.
Yeah, just keeps moving his way through the field, up 7 on the day. But in order to get his way even further up, he's got to get past our 2 biggest movers of the day. That's Lloyd Moore and Glenn Jamieson, both who are up 21 spots on the day.
Man, that is an absolute climb, especially in the ARCA stock cars around USA Speedway. Has a little bit of a wiggle out there, a little bit of puff of smoke from just a little bit of slap of the wall. No harm, no foul. Now you see Sean Foltz going around the inside of Todd Cousins. They'll fold back in that top 10 for the time being, but Cousins not going to go away too easy. As you see Cousins going high, wide, and handsome. Logan Allen trying to see where he wants to go as well. That number 6 Mustang down the front straightaway as we see a replay here. Oh, another wiggle. That could have been very nasty for the 28 once again. And yeah, it is nasty as it comes off turn 4 with the spin.
Yeah, comes out turn 4 with the spin, and I'm not sure if he towed that. Looks like he did take a tow back down into pit lane, so that is essentially will be the day done for Robert there. We focus back in on number 59, Sean Foltz, holding off an attack here from Luke, Logan, Allen, and Todd Cousins, although they're not too close behind. He's got a little bit of breathing room as things go. So we'll get him pulled in and maybe just try to hold on to this top 10 position.
We just heard that Luke Logan Allen is 12 years old. DJ, makes it feel a little old there, knowing that the next generation here are doing sim racing.
Yep, that doesn't make me feel great. I thought it was bad enough when I was out on the road and talking to the Indy Next kids, and they were 20, knowing that there's a 12-year-old out here doing things that I couldn't. Not great.
Well, I've got to say this. There's another league that I do, and I remember. The kid was in the field, and I was going to my co-commentators. I go, I remember when he was a baby, when his dad was out at the racetrack. So, yeah, I'm feeling just a little bit old myself these past couple of days. I got to get some Advil after this race because those joints are feeling just a little bit sore. And now the Goldfish paint scheme, it all clicks.
Goldfish are good at any age. I don't know what you're talking about. When we sit
that's true. Nope, you're right. You're right.
I was actually looking at that going, man, that would taste really good. I wish I had
some.
Yeah.
Well, I will note that next time we're at the track together. I'll get a big thing of the Goldfish for us.
There you go. There you go. All right, as we continue to watch Luke Logan Allen right now working his way around. Everything's kind of equalized here with about 50 laps to go in this race. Everyone holding station for the moment. Brendan Myers on your screen right now. In 9th place, Sean Foltz starting to close in a little bit. That gap coming down to about, let's call it a car length as they dive down into the corner. This could be a battle for that P9 before everything's said and done.
Yeah, Foltz looking pretty good so far this race. He fell back just a little bit. He's up 2 spots so far. But it's one thing to catch Brendan Myers. It's another thing to get around him. We'll see if Myers uses Chris Hazlip up ahead as a pick. Hazlip running in. He's running in 20th spot, 4 laps down. Not the night that Hazlip really wanted, but the Racing Rev doing quite well, staying out of the way. That gives a little bit of breathing room for Brendan Myers, but Sean Foltz able to close in off of turn 4 just a little bit. So right now, Foltz is where he wants to be, although this past time by, they both ran about the same lap time.
All right, so running that same lap time is good. It's all just a matter of, though, keeping everything within the margins. We heard some of the drivers talking about tire wear, but remember, we pitted on about lap 110, there or thereabouts, so that's going to give you a little bit of wiggle room on the back end of it. However, the contrast to that is in those opening laps, so at lap 111 there, as you can bring it up on your screen, thank you, Lowell. The contrast to that is we did have some yellow flag running in that first stint, and so I think that probably evens things out a little bit.
Yeah, that's going to even it just a little bit, and we'll see. Here's the thing, too. I'm looking at these times as well. Logan Allen with 25, so everybody basically taking 4 tires for the most part. We'll see how this works out. Still 21 cars running with Scott Negus, your first car out of this race. So still a pretty healthy field with about 45 laps left to go in this race. Myers holding station right now in that 9th spot. And now we see this battle for position between the 26 and the 63. Your 2 highest climbing drivers in Lloyd Moore and Glenn Jamieson. DJ up 21 spots. Part of that's due to attrition, but really we've seen the moves that these 2 drivers have made throughout the night.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen their ability to move their way forward, and I think here for the likes of Jamieson and Moore, this is kind of a battle that I'm excited to see. I mean, right now it looks like Glenn Jamieson has the advantage as we've got a yellow on the track with about 43 laps to go.
Replay on what happened here in just a little bit, and looks like that could be our yellow car. Fred Leclerc, and yeah, does a solo spin on his own, and that just goes to show that sometimes the iRacing stewards little iffy here and there on their yellows. So we've got 2 high climbers. You want to grab one of those, DJ, for this yellow interview?
Yeah, let's bring Lloyd up here into the booth and talk to him. Let's see how Lloyd is doing on the day.
Lloyd, Jeremy, and DJ up in the booth. Both you and Glenn Jameson have 21 spots climbed. What is that all about?
Oh, just picking my way through, trying to be patient. Didn't have very good qualifying runs, and I made a bunch of adjustments to my offset and stuff, and brake bias, and decided to start in the back and just kind of pick my way through and see how the set does. It's pretty good, but I don't have anything for the top 5.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, talk to me a little bit about what it's like having to fight on this track. We've heard so many drivers say it's difficult to try to get a pass done. You're making it look easy. Other than the setups, is this just sheer aggression? Is it timing? How are you making this work?
Yeah, trying to, like I said, just trying to stay patient, wait for the right moment. Somebody gets a little high, you're able to get a little bit of run getting out of the corner, so on and so forth. Or guys just getting together and getting up the track and, taking the hole that's given and go with it.
So far, so good. Sixth place so far in the number 26 Zero Shoes Chevy. Good luck out there.
Hey, thanks, guys.
And here's the thing, too, DJ. You take a look at the field. Look at where Trey Bloom is right now. He's sitting in 8th. We talked about how one, maybe 2 cautions will get him up near the front. This might be the caution that changes everything after he copped that penalty and pit out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if he's able to get another caution like this, we could be looking at a top 5 position here for Bloom. He may not even need another caution to do it. Just the field bunching up here with 40 laps to go really could be the game changer here for Trey.
See if the caveman can make it happen. He'll start on the outside of row number 4. DJ, the pace lights are on the pace car.
Lights are out on the pace car, coming down the back straightaway right now. It's our same leaders up at the front, Feimster and Lowe, going to try to sort themselves out. Kyle's had the advantage the whole time. He's really been able to lock this down with the exception of that first restart, and even then he was able to fight back on James. But let's see what happens as they come around turn 4. 40 laps to go here at USA International. Green flag in the air. We are racing once more. It's a good getaway there for James Lowe. He's going to press his advantage to the point that Worrell may even have something to say about it. But here comes Kyle back on the low lane.
Saul Williamson tried to look to the inside there on the restart. Not going to make it happen. And we're back under yellow once again. So caution's precaution. So we are on yellow number 7 of the night.
And this is good news for a lot of these drivers. Let's see if they are able to maybe make a little bit more work on this.
Oh.
What happened here farther back in the field?
So it looks like the 33 was involved in that a spin, and I think it was just a solo car spin and able to avoid most calamity, but nonetheless, Todd Cousins, you look there, and Fred Leclerc almost thought that he was involved there. Let's see if we can go back just a little further, and yeah, Leclerc just the innocent bystander. It looked like what happened is Todd Cousins kind of checked up there as Sean Foltz a little slower than he thought. And yeah, Leclerc causing some damage. All right, let's talk to the man of the hour. It's the caveman, Trey Bloom, the number 32. After having that penalty, he basically has climbed his way up through the field. And looking pretty good so far. It's that second caution. Wasn't able to get up anywhere. Trey, it's Jeremy and DJ in the booth. I'm not surprised saying this either. You've climbed your way up through the field, you copped a penalty, and now you're climbing your way up through the field once again.
Yeah, I was kind of a bonehead move on me with the penalty coming out of the pits, but yeah, happy to be climbing. Hopefully I didn't waste too much tire. I had to push it, just try to catch up, but this caution helps, and hopefully I can make something out of it.
DJ?
Trey, DJ up here in the booth. Just want to know how you're kind of balancing that aggression that you have to have with the tire management in mind. I mean, is it something that you're feeling in the car, or is it something that you've just got to be aware of a little bit more mentally?
I guess I go by feel. I'm a big brake bias adjuster, so I'm adjusting this thing all race, depending on if I want to be aggressive or save tire or whatever I want to do, if I want to make a pass, all that kind of stuff. I have a little rotary dial, so I'm switching it all the time.
Mr. Excitement out there, you're up to 8th place, and hopefully you can get up there and at least challenge for a podium.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Trey Bloom, driver of the number 32, looking pretty good, and we are lights out on the pace car. Hopefully we can get at least one full lap of racing in because we're seeing lots of great action, but I've got to say this, James Lowe will get to the line and it'll be his call for the restart.
His call for the restart, that advantage that we talked about off of the last restart, just able to hold in there and make it play. So now we are going to be restarting here with about 35 laps to go. And I've got a sneaking suspicion that for the likes of the 99 and the 14 in this front row, it is going to be gloves off and no holds barred here for the lead. Let's see if that plays out. They come out of turn 4 right now. All eyes turn to Barney in the flag stand. And here we go. We are back racing once more as the engines come alive. It's a good run there for Lowe to the point that he's got it covered off. Worrell down to the inside. Kyle Feimster getting a little bit swallowed.
Almost went 3 wide there with Feimster, Worrell, and Williamson. Right now, this is the best that we have seen. Chris Worrell, but Feimster able to make his way into second place, side by side near the back of the pack. Brendan Myers and Trey Bloomer in a battle. You've got Holloway and Holloway and Jamison in a battle. But look at this, Worrell to the inside of Feimster. He's going to get the point for the time being, but is Feimster going to let him have it that much longer as he dives to the inside once again, too far away to make something happen.
He's not close enough to make it happen, and Worrell's going to be able to shut the door. That is huge, not only for Chris Worrell, but I've got to think for James Lowe as well, as he now knows his main competition's a little farther back in the field. Now here's the 11 and the 88. That's Brennan Myers and Mike Holloway trying to fight side by side. That's the battle back for about 7th place.
Well, you know what I like to say around this time, they're fixing to get bent as everybody trying to get up and try and get higher position just in case we decide to go yellow once again. Bloom has lost 1 spot off the restart, but look at this. Feimster once again to the inside. Got a meatball flag for the 19th place driver, Fred Leclerc, so his race effectively over. Here comes Feimster to the inside. He gets that nose out front. Now he sets his sights on James Lowe once again. If there's anybody in this field that can catch Lowe, it's a driver in second place.
Yeah, and now this is going to make things very interesting. About 30 laps to go in the race. My question is going to be, is if Chris Worrell's got anything left, or Feimster up ahead of him, Frontster up ahead of him. Farther back in the field, we see some side-by-side. That's that number 6 that we talked about earlier, Luke Logan Allen, the 12-year-old, making some moves.
Yeah, Logan Allen trying to see if he can get his way back into the top 10. He's fallen 4 spots from his qualifying position as he works his way around the inside of Sean Foltz. Foltz in the 59 looking pretty good. Here comes Isaacs as well in the 51. He's going to try and look to the inside of Luke Logan Allen. So Allen's going to fall back 1 spot for the time being. As Isaacs in at number 15.
Isaacs, yeah.
Yes, Isaacs, you have to apologize about that. Not too far away. Also, Bruce Pearson's made his way back onto the lead laps of the double deuce, also trying to make something happen. Isaacs just can't get, Allen just can't get low.
Yeah, he's just trying to get low. Oh, almost a little bit of a contact there with Bruce Pearson, and now he's going to maybe find space behind Cousins. Good fight back here from Isaacs. Remember, he had that spin a little bit earlier that sent him back. There is that move down to the inside, and a great crossover move there for Luke Logan Allen. He's going to be able to come down to the inside of the 22 of Bruce Pearson and make it play. That was some good stuff from the youngster.
Yeah, he's showing some great racecraft here, and of course, wouldn't be surprised to see him in the real deal here in the next 4 to 5 years. Even hurts me to say that right now as well. Feimster's closed in just a little bit to James Lowe, so we'll watch that battle a little bit later on, but look at this. Luke Logan Allen trying to see if he can make that middle line work for him. So far, it looks like he's almost diamonding off the corners right now. As we take a look at it, he dives in low. A little bit of a diamond, a little bit of a rough diamond through the corners, but he's making it work. He's keeping the double deuce behind him so far.
A little bit of a scrape off the wall there, potentially. Couldn't tell if that was from Allen or Pearson. We focus a little bit farther up in the field at the moment. And this is going to be Lloyd Moore and Glenn Jamison, again, vying for the biggest movers of the race. They try to get their way forward. Not seeing a lot of movement here, but this is important for the both of them. They've also got to watch out a little bit. Brennan Myers up 8 spots behind them. And of course, the driver we just spoke to, Trey Bloom in P8.
Yeah, so good showing so far in the top 10. Of course, still watching with one eye open on the battle for the lead between Lowe and Feimster. Feimster knocking at that back door right now as he wants to get up to the front. And when he gets up, he's going to try every opportunity to try and crack the armor that is James Lowe. It's hard to do on most nights, but if there's anyone who's done it the past couple of weeks, it has been Kyle Feimster. As look at this battle for Jamison. He goes around the inside of Lloyd Moore for the time being, and Moore may lose one more spot as Myers looks to the inside. Trey Bloom knocks at the door of Myers as well. So once that happens, Jamison able to open up a little gap and close in on Chris Worrell, but Lloyd Moore looks like he might be seeing some trouble. Myers goes high, he spins.
Oh, I'm not sure if there was contact there for the number 11 or exactly what happened, but you and I saw that at the same time. He just got high and got up into those marbles and nearly lost it.
Yeah, let's see what happens. And yeah, that might have been a little bit of help from Trey Bloom, but you know what? The racing gods give it, the racing gods take it away. There's been some races where Brendan Myers has also been on the other side, a little bit of a wiggle, but not sure if that's net code or actual contact, but either way, a rough way to end the night for Brendan Myers. And we got to start thinking about green-white checkers as well. Let's actually call up, while we're doing that, Dalton Williamson in the one, up 15 spots so far on the night. Dalton, it's Jeremy and DJ in the booth. We saw that restart where you tried to go to the inside. Do you have anything for James or Kyle?
Possibly. I'm kind of sitting back here enjoying the show for right now and waiting to attack.
Love that mentality from you there, Dalton. I mean, as you start off, is this going to be something that you're going to have to be able to get this move done on the restart, or do you think you can maybe let a little luck play to you later on?
I think it's time to let him hang and see what we got, I think.
Well, nonetheless, you've got that barrel popcorn sitting there. Good luck out there.
Thank you, guys.
And DJ, I was able to dig through the notes that we got from Noel Jewell as well. One green-white checker should we need it. So keep that in mind in the bank here for the next 19 laps.
Exactly, one green-white checker. That's going to be pretty interesting to see how that plays out. Let's see, though, as they line up. Lights are still on the pace car, so we'll have at least one more lap under yellow, which means we should be coming to the green here with roughly, let's call it 18 laps to go, I think.
Yeah, I think it'll be an 18-lap shootout should we get this race underway. And I have to think that, yeah, the pace car lights will be out this time by. So see Feimster trying to line himself up along the outside of James Lowe, but interesting to see what happens here. We saw how Racy Williamson was on that restart, but my thing is Lowe and Feimster, after about 2 or 3 laps, they've been able to open up a pretty decent sized gap as now the lights go out on the pace car, so the field will pair up. I have a sneaking suspicion, DJ, as well, that not our last caution.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a little bit more. As you like to say, as we've heard it said before, cautions breed cautions, and I think for the likes of James Lowe, he's going to maybe want more cautions. He wants to try to let this run as much as possible, not let Kyle Feimster have any opportunity to get on by him.
No, so it's going to be interesting. We know that these two know each other very well, and it's better the devil you know than the devil you don't.
Exactly. Well, those Devils are about to line up and put power down as they come out of the final corner. Green flag in the air. We are racing once more, and again, it's a brilliant getaway there for James Lowe. He's going to hold on to the lead as they come down into turns 1 and 2. Worrell trying to make a move around the outside. Williamson looking to see if there's anything to have.
And still lots of jostling for position back there. Feimster gets up under that back bumper of James Lowe once again as Worrell's going to try and go high, wide, and handsome over Dalton Williamson. Not going to make it happen. I think I might have saw it 3 wide back there. A little ill-advised, but Williamson able to tuck in line right there. The closest side-by-side battle we have right now is between Trey Bloom and Glenn Jamison. Bloom has that advantage. He gets in front of Jamison. Now, Lloyd Moore now sets his sights on Jamison in that number 63 back under yellow.
You called it there, Jeremy, under yellow once again. Everything does play play out. I'm not sure who caused that one necessarily. I see Leclerc and Wanamaker as disconnected, but not sure if that's who caused it.
No, yeah, Wanamaker and Leclerc were in the pits the last yellow, so not sure. Oh, that's what happened. We saw the 33 pointed the wrong way. Hazlip also involved in that as well. So Cousins and Hazlip oh, that's weird to see Bruce Pearson, the cause of that as well.
Huh. A little bit of an interesting play out there. It is. Oh, Pearson and there it was. Pearson and he just kind of got into the side of each other. A little bit of an unfortunate, unmeant pit maneuver, I think.
I think so as well. That's not Bruce's style of this. All right, who do you want to call up this time?
Now, we've talked to the majority coming up through the field, but let's talk to Chris Worrell here, who's looking pretty good.
And Chris Worrell, that's one driver up at the front who we've not talked to. And I don't know if you've looked at the paint scheme there, but it's a Beavis and Butthead there. Chris, how you feeling out there? I think let's give Chris one more try. Chris, it's Jeremy DJ in the booth. You got us?
Hey there.
So you're actually looking pretty good up there, up in the top 5 as Lowell can't believe our little childish antics. What's it like racing with some of these faster guys up here?
It's fun. James is a good buddy of mine. I'm hoping he can hold off Kyle here. Kyle's really fast. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. They're getting off exit just so much faster. I'm trying not to spin the car. Definitely top 5 speed, I think, but I just I can't touch these two. Dalton too. He's really fast, especially on this long run. I'm just trying to change things up. Hopefully, I can, something will unfold my way, but we'll see.
Well, Chris, DJ up here in the booth, I'm curious when we're talking about these restarts. I mean, how hair-raising is this for you? Are you looking ahead at these points, or are you having to watch behind you with the likes of Trey Bloom and Glenn Jamieson coming up?
I've taken care of my tires pretty decently. Honestly, I'm just trying to keep the car straight at this point, and just watching James and Kyle go after it. I mean, you never know what can happen. If I get my chance, I'm going to go for it, but it's going to be hard to beat these guys in front of me, that's for sure.
All right, they're pairing up. Good luck.
Thanks, man.
Right, side by side they go. James Lowe trying to hold on to his near-perfect advantage up at the front of the field since these restarts have been happening. 11 laps to go here from USA International Speedway, and this time it's Feemster that gets the run. He's going to make a run to the outside, but Lowe fights back, down low, trying to follow him on through is Dalton Williamson. Chris Worrell, who we just talked to, trying to work his way into the outside, and Lowe holds him off.
Williamson going down to the inside of Feemster, trying to hold him off. He's going to keep him up high as Williamson. He's going to get up there. They're going to lean on each other coming into turn number 1. That's going to give Lowe the advantage that he wants, but Feemster, look at 3 wide near the back as well. Oh, how they saved it, I don't know, as Jamieson going to use that bumper to push Lloyd Moore up ahead, but still got this battle for second place between Williamson and Feemster. Williamson with that nose up front, that's going to give Worrell a chance to go look to the inside, and Feemster now has a chance to go low, and a bit of a help. There's contact. 2 cars into the wall as Worrell helps Feemster into the wall. Now we've got the big one.
Oh my goodness gracious, the 28 and the 22 involved in that as well. That's Bruce Pearson and Robert Garisco, as it is a heartbreak here for Kyle Feemster, one of the drivers that we had circled and one of the drivers that we thought was going to win this race, ends up in the wall and facing the wrong way.
Let's see what happens as we take a look. We see Feemster go low. Worrell follows him, and not sure if Worrell was just too fast or what happened, but you also heard Worrell earlier. He's good friends with James Lowe.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly. I mean, maybe there was a little bit of blocking going on there, but my goodness gracious, you just hate to see that happen.
Yeah, you really do. Regardless, either way, that honestly, you take a look at it, and it just looks like a racing incident that just went wrong.
Yep.
But yeah, now James Lowe just doesn't have too much to have to worry about, as we're already up to 10 cautions.
Yep, all right, 10 cautions here. We should restart. Lights are still on, so I think we're going to restart here with about 5 laps to go. This is going to be an all-out shootout. And my question here, Chris Worrell, who we just talked to, said, I don't know if I've got it. He's sitting P2 right now.
You know what? I wonder if he was playing poker face there, because he was really keeping up with this battle with Feimster and Williamson. By the way, Williamson looks like he is most likely done for the night as well. Feimster 2 laps down, still in the pits. We should be going back to 1 to go here shortly. So it will be a 5-lap shootout to the restart. Let's see what happens to the lights on the pace car. And they remain on heading into turn 1. So that 5-lap shootout could turn into a 4-lap shootout pretty quick.
Raising the stakes just a little bit more. Here they go. My goodness, 4 laps to decide this thing. Jeremy, at this point, I don't think there's anybody that can take this fight to James Lowe, but we're certainly going to see if Chris Worrell can do it.
Yeah, no surprise that James Lowe up at the front. Lloyd Moore up 24 spots. Would not be surprised if he tries something. But look at who is sitting in 4th place. The only other driver that I think will be able to take it to James Lowe is the caveman, Trey Bloom.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Bloom's been able to work his way back forward, and after that pit lane penalty, the pit lane exit penalty that we talked about, it's certainly going to be a little bit of a situation where he may be looking at a podium here, which I think midway through the race we thought was next to impossible.
Yeah, Bloom is one of those drivers also where you wonder where he came from, but lights are out on the pace car, and this is going to be a very interesting restart. I have a feeling Trey Bloom sees that lead and knows that he can go for it.
All right, here we go. Lowe, Worrell, Moore, Bloom, your top 4. Don't discount Glenn Jamieson, your big mover. Your second big mover, Moore, has actually moved up 24 spots. And we are going to have a 4-lap shootout to the end. James Lowe on the inside, Chris Worrell to the outside. All eyes go to Barney as here goes the green. We are back racing again from USA International Speedway. It is neck and neck between Worrell and Lowe as they dive down into turn 1. And they're going to come out of the corner the same way. Maybe a little bit of an advantage here to Lowe, but Worrell fights him back.
Well, Worrell is really looking pretty good on that high line. And also Lloyd Moore looks like he wants to try and battle for that lead. Look to the inside to try and make it 3 wide as we're back under yellow, and we are seeing cars spinning left and right. DJ, we're going to see a green-white checker finish.
Yes, we are, and that is unfortunate there for the likes of Glenn Jamieson in the 63, who it looked like tried to slow the car down, maybe got a little bit of rear tire lock, and it just sent the car spinning.
Let's see what happens. Oh, he just tapped James Lowe. That was that. After that, 2-3 cars all involved. You see Mike Holloway pointed the wrong way. So still, just cautions. We mentioned cautions, pre-cautions. I never thought we'd see 11 cautions in this 200 some odd lap race, and I wouldn't be surprised to see how much more spicy this gets in the next couple laps, because when we get to the restart, Trey Bloom's going to have the inside. He might just go for broke here.
I mean, why wouldn't you? You're up in P3 at this point. Follow him on through. You're going to have a green-white checker shootout. Go, go, go. We know Bloom's got the car. He might as well try to push for it.
And of course, you're not just racing for glory this time. You're racing for a trophy, a beautiful trophy, a handmade trophy that you can display in your office or whatever. So I have a feeling that if I'm James Lowe, I'm watching out for Trey Bloom, which is something that we've been able to say several times over the past couple of seasons. And yeah, this who would have thought that this inaugural Winterfest would come down to a 2-lap shootout?
I think I had a sneaking suspicion that we may get up to a green-white checker here. I mean, that's just kind of exactly what you want to see. Maybe it was wishful thinking at the start of this race, but my goodness, we couldn't have asked for a better way to end this. I believe the lights will be going out on the pace car this time by, I'm a liar. We're going to have one more lap of caution.
Yeah, that's why, you look at race control and be like, come on, let's wrap this up. This is although I have a feeling that the race director also wants to have just a little bit of drama left in this race. We saw that Worrell could hang with James Lowe, so really anything can happen. You got a lot of fast drivers behind Foltz as well, behind Foltz, Isaacs, and heck, even the kid Logan Allen sitting back there in 6th place. So many great storylines that we've had throughout this race. Because of that incident, Lloyd Moore, your highest climber, no longer in the 20s, so up 19 spots into 8th place. We'll see if we get the 1 to go signal this time by as the front 3 rows start to pair up once again across the line, and the lights are out on the pace car.
All right, here we go. James Lowe, Chris Worrell, Trey Bloom, and Sean Foltz. Don't count out Jerry Isaacs here in 5th place as well. He may be able to get a little bit of something happening here. That 51, who had a spin a little bit earlier, fought back and is now up into P5. But it's going to be James Lowe that's going to control the pace of this restart. How will he be able to do? Let's see. They dive down into turn 3 under caution for the final time. Remember, we've only got 1 shot at a green-white checker, so the next flag will end it regardless. Here they go, the number 06 and the number 99 come to the line, and green flag is in the air. James Lowe tries to get a good getaway there, side by side, diving out into turn 1. Worrell's got a little bit of a run on the outside, trying to be able to keep the advantage. Lowe keeps up the steam down to the inside. They're still side by side, thundering down the back straightaway.
And Trey Bloom looking like he wants to try and make something happen. He's going to try and poke a nose there into James Lowe's backside as they come down to get the white flag. 1 lap to go. And now we see Lowe having to defend up high, having to defend down low. DJ, this is going to be a finish for the ages. Can Trey Bloom go to the inside?
A little bit of a wiggle there from Worrell. That's going to lose some momentum. Bloom not able to get the inside line. Worrell tries to hold the outside, but Lowe has the advantage coming off of turn 4. It's a spin for Bloom. It's a wiggle for Worrell, but it's a win for James Lowe. Jerry Isaacs works his way back up into P3 as Lowe, Worrell, and Isaacs will round out your podium.
And we mentioned it was all going to go for broke, and Trey Bloom did the best that he can, still finished off in 12th place, and really a good run for him. But man, what is it about James Lowe and short track racing? The man can do anything. At Mary Alice, your nephew's coming home with a trophy.
There it is, and there is the ceremonial burn down after 200 laps at USA International Speedway. It is James Lowe that takes victory. He was always up in the thick of it. He was always near the top. He was able to claim the top spot, and with it, that beautiful, beautiful Baldy trophy that we talked about a little bit earlier on in the broadcast.
Well, with that, the racing is over, but the show is not. We are going to take a quick break, interview the top 3 before we put a lock on the gate here from the inaugural WinterFest 2026. You're watching the Virtual Grip Network.
Welcome back to USA International Speedway, where we just saw a true firecracker of a race won by James Lowe up at the front of the field. DJ Clark and Jeremy Scott still up here in the production booth, just getting ready to interview a few other people. Want to give a massive, massive thank you to Lowell Jewell, who was able to bring along the cameras and get everything working wonderfully over the course of today. And folks, without further ado, let's bring it right on into the interviews here, because I have got to talk to our victor of the day, James Lowe. James, you were right in the midst of this entire race. You were always right there. Was there a point that you thought, you know what, I think this is mine to win?
Actually, it was the exact opposite. I thought I was a second place car, pretty much that whole time. But that's why you keep racing. Got a good restart and got lucky with that caution that put us out front. And yeah, after that, we just tried to hold on to it. And obviously, calamity happened behind. And I hate that for Kyle. He ran a great race tonight, and he definitely had the fastest car. I didn't have anything for him. But sometimes that's just how racing works out. You get a timely caution that your nose is barely out front, and you just take them as they come. But overall, very fun race, and glad it's over because my arm's hurt.
I got to tell you, my voice hurts a little bit. It's the off season, so I feel you there. But I want to go back and talk a little bit about those restarts, because right from the downbeat on the green flag, you were able to get the jump. It seemed like you did kind of have a lockdown a little bit on the restarts for the most part, with as many cautions as we had, with them keeping to come up. Did that start to give you confidence over the course of the race?
I mean, it's the only shot you got. It's the best way to make up ground and try to get the lead. So you got to fight for everything you can get. And I'm not sure if Kyle was using auto blip or something like that, but I would definitely had when it came to the shifting, I was able to shoot up ahead of him. So I'm not sure about that, but yeah, you just got to take it as it comes and hope it plays out in your favor, which tonight, luckily, it did.
Well, final thing I've got to ask you here, James. You've got a pretty cool trophy headed your way in the form of this Baldy trophy. What are you going to do with it? Where are you going to display it?
Uh, I'll probably put it here in the sim room somewhere. That's pretty cool. I think it's the first trophy I've ever got sim racing, so that's gonna be real cool. And I think want to thank Alan and Lowell for putting all this on. It was a fun day of racing, even though I skipped a few of them, but just I'm getting old, gotta rest up for these big long races. But yeah, thank them for putting all this on. It was a fun time and all day festivities, and glad to go hit the bed after this.
All right. Well, we won't keep you from going to bed here at this point, but anybody you want to thank for the day?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Maunt Mary Alice first and foremost. She's always in here pulling for us, and glad we did her proud tonight. Um, the top three, Chris and who else was there? Jerry, had good runs, and yeah, Lowell and Alan for putting all this stuff on, and you guys for broadcasting. I can't wait to go back and give it a watch.
Right. Well, James, thank you so much, and congratulations once again. It was a great race for you.
Appreciate it.
All right. That was James Lowe, your victor here today. And now, Jeremy, I think we have.
Yeah, we've got Chris Worrell joining us. And Chris, I've got to say, you had a great qualifying lap, but nonetheless, you finish off in second place. You said you didn't know if you had anything for either Kyle or James, but looked like there on those restarts you had something for James.
Possibly. I don't know. I was kind of my mind was out of it after that accident there. I want to go ahead and apologize to Kyle there. Earlier in the race, he had blocked me to the bottom, and it was getting towards the end, and I just feel like I should say this first, but I felt like at the end, I committed to the to trying to get the run, and he committed to the block. In hindsight, I wish I would have just let off and just gave it to him. He did such a good job, and he deserved to be fighting for the win at the end. I feel bad that all this cautions kind of like really screwed him over, but like I said, I was gonna try to go for it if I could. My nose was there, and I just wasn't expecting him to let off so soon. And then it took out Dalton too. So it's sweet and sour. I'm glad to finish second, but I hate that it took out those two guys doing it.
Well, either way, you had a fantastic showing for the most of the race, second place, and because James Lowe, was our winner, and was already eligible for yesteryear. Um, Alan told us earlier in our briefings that the second place driver would be eligible for the yesteryear IROC series. What does that mean for you, who basically braced your way to second place?
It means I need to tighten up, I guess, after tonight. These guys are really fast. Yeah, especially James and Kyle there. They were just gone on the long run. And yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to be a part of the IROC and maybe learn a thing or two. So yeah, like I said, I didn't go home empty-handed, as Wanamaker was telling me. But that's pretty cool. And I like you got the win there. Being new, just now racing with everybody, it would have been cool to get the win. But I'm glad to see James win. Congrats, buddy.
All right, the next question: when are you gonna come play with us on Saturday nights?
I get this season. I'll be starting the late model series with BRL this what is it, next weekend? I believe we start off.
Yeah, next weekend.
Cool. Yeah. I'm
Oh,
looking forward to it.
you.
I've been
I will make sure that you get to talk to the man, the myth, the legend that is Soups on. I think you two will get along quite well. Anyone you want to thank?
Yeah, Lowell for letting me race with everybody. You guys for putting on a good show. I've watched BRL for a long time on Saturday nights. So I'm familiar with the names and y'all's voices and everything. So it'll be exciting to race and be a part of the broadcast next weekend. Thank you for to Wanamaker. I don't know his first name. I forgot his first name, but thanks everybody that showed up and put on the show. VRN for doing the broadcast. It was a lot of fun. Had a great day. Enjoyed racing this track over and over with you guys.
Well, Chris, can't wait to see you next week and see what you can do. Chris Worrell, congratulations on your runner-up finish.
Thanks, man.
DJ Clark is sitting pretty with our third place driver, Jerry Isaacs.
Jerry, it was an up and down and up again race for you. What were your emotions like over the course of that 200 lap affair?
That's fair. Up and down and up and down. And it was, I don't know. I've really struggled at both here and yesteryear in terms of just shooting myself in the foot. And I did it again tonight. I kind of raced my way to the front. Then I missed my pit box and then I spun myself. And honestly, at that point, I was just like, I'm just going to quit. And I'm like, no, don't quit. This is a great event. I'm going to keep racing. And I thought, I'm far enough back. I'm not going to catch anybody up front. So I actually kind of went a little easy and tried to save some tires in case there was a couple yellows at the end and I could work my way up. And I don't know if it was that or just getting lucky of being on the inside. But then, ending up on the podium in the last lap is just a kind of a dream come true. Not what I expected.
Well, I mean, was there a point in that run where you sort of said, okay, maybe a podium couldn't happen here? Or was it just kind of on that last lap that you went, oh, man?
In the last 10 laps, no, there was no way I was thinking that. Early in the race, when I made my way up there and I was battling for third, fourth, I really thought, okay, if I can, have a good second stint and, I could be up here battling for a podium. But after my spin, I had a little hope, but I quickly realized, I thought, yeah, unless there's some really bad carnage, I'm stuck in line because it's just so hard to pass. I mean, you can make a pass on a restart. You might be able to be super aggressive and pass one car, but there was no way I was going to pass 10 cars and just got lucky with some carnage.
Well, as we look ahead to the year upcoming, what do you got planned for you in the world of sim racing? Anything fun coming up that you're looking forward to?
I'll run the YesterYear series. It's always a fun series, and I love running the OBRL series. So I'll keep racing the league stuff. Some of that officials get toxic. I'll still jump in there and play. I don't mind doing it, but I really look forward to all that league stuff.
All right. Well, we look forward to having you in them. Anybody you want to thank for a great third place run tonight, Jerry?
Well, thank you guys at VGN for the broadcast. My mom appreciates it. I'd like to say fans, but my mom's the only one that watches. So, hi, Mom. And then also, Alan Wanamaker, YesterYear. This is a fantastic day. It was a lot of fun. Appreciate them putting it on. So, thanks, all you guys.
All right. Thank you, Jerry. We appreciate you. And we appreciate all of you that watch here on the Virtual Grip Network and indeed around the country. It's a real privilege to be able to put on these races for you. Jeremy, we're about to step away here. I know out on the West Coast, I've got to make some dinner for my wife, but anything you want to close what was a fantastic day of racing with?
Well, we got to get you in the booth here sometimes more often than not. I know your schedule precludes it, but either way, this is an absolute fantastic event. Alan Wanamaker, Lowell Jewell, you guys put on a spectacular event. I cannot wait to start the VGN season in earnest as well on Wednesday, where we welcome open wheel racing to the series. And yeah, it's going to be a fun season of racing here up and down the Virtual Grip Network.
That's going to be absolutely fantastic. And again, on behalf of everybody here at VGN, we want to thank you for tuning in. On behalf of myself, DJ Clark, Jeremy Scott, and Lowell Jewell have been running the show up here tonight. We very much appreciate you. And make sure you stay tuned for all of the great VGN action that will be coming at you this whole year long. So, folks, thank you for tuning in tonight. And until we see you on the track, thanks for watching.